This is my attempt to embellish upon the piano card trick, a very classic of magic where playing cards are stuck in between the fingers of the spectator's hand, which is why I have these cardboard hands cut out and the slits cut in the cardboard so I can place cards in between the fingers as if a spectator were actually here. Cards are removed from the deck. The cards are shown that some of the cards have musical notes on them. Just about half of the cards have musical notes upon the backs. The other cards have a solid block marked in with a magic marker. I'll show you what those are for in just a moment. First, let's take a look at the musical note playing cards. I won't need all of them, just some of them. And this is what they're for. I'm going to take two cards. I'm going to take a pair of cards and place them between your fingers. This is where the spectator clamps the playing cards between their fingers as if they're playing the piano. Two cards go there, another pair goes there, another pair goes there. Only pairs of cards go between the fingers of the spectator. Another pair of cards go there. And pretty soon you get down to the point to where you're not going to be having a pair of cards because the last card is an odd card. Yes, only one card. That's going to be the odd card of the entire group. Now the spectator is holding these cards between their fingers, if you can imagine that. You remove them from their hands one at a time as pairs. There's one pair, two pair. You remove the pairs one at a time. So you have pairs of cards that are being paired up or separated into two equal piles. Each pile is equal. Another pair there and one pair right there. Now the last card is an odd card. It doesn't really fit because it's not a pair. So whichever pile it places in, it's going to be an odd pile. Where should I place it? It's up to you. At this time the spectator can say where they wish to be placed. It doesn't matter. It gets placed there and the cards are shuffled. So there's one odd card in one pile right here. But watch, with a little bit of sleight of hand, a little bit of magical mystery, watch that card travel invisibly from one pile to the other. Hard to believe, I know that it traveled from here to there, but look, there's a pair right there, there's a pair, there's another pair, there's a pair right there, and of course there's the last pair, the odd card is gone, but did it actually travel? There's a pair, there's a pair, there's a pair, and the very last card is a single, that's right, single card. Your odd card traveled all the way over to the other side, just like magic. Well, enough with the musical notes. Let's check out these solid colored blocks on the backs of the playing cards. I've done that because if you spread the cards on the table just like this and separate them just a little bit, it begins to look like a piano, doesn't it? Well, it is called the piano card trick after all. Now, I'm going to have you place your fingers on the back of these black notes. Only the black notes you'll be touching with your fingers. So the spectator places their fingers upon the black notes of any of them. Now, I'm playing the part of the spectator here. Doesn't matter. They pick up all their fingers but one and push one card forward. Only one black note is pushed forward. It's set aside temporarily. The black notes are turned over and it's seen that upon the other side of the notes are names of songs. 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton, that's a good song. Black Velvet, another great song. Lady by Kenny Rogers. On the back side, It's Too Late by Carole King. On the back side of all of the black notes are names. There's My Way by Frank Sinatra, names of musical songs. Each and every black note has a musical song on the other side. You can check them out if you want. Let's take a look at the song that you chose, the black note that you chose. On the other side of that, the song you've selected is Hey Jude. Great song by the Beatles. Of course, if you had selected further down, Love Train would have been another selection. Perhaps Heart of Gold. All of the black notes have different songs, but I predicted that from the very beginning because on the back of my card box, I had already had written, Hey Jude, don't make it bad. How about that? Thank you for helping. You did a great job. The top 22 cards have musical notes drawn upon them with a magic marker. The next 30 cards have black piano keys drawn upon the upper left-hand corner so that whenever they're spread across the pad it will resemble a keyboard of a piano. The top musical note has something sticky on the back. It could be magician's wax, it could be double stick tape, it could be friction spray, and on the face of that note is your prediction, Hey Jude, which is revealed at the end of the effect. So the top musical note is sticky. Now the top 7 cards are set off to the side as you get into the presentation. When you're placing pairs of cards in between their fingers, you never point out that's 1 pair, that's 2 pair, that's 3 pair. You only mention a pair of cards. You want them to be thinking throughout the entire presentation that they are paired up. Everything is pairs. There's an equal amount. So as you place the pairs of cards in between their fingers, there's a pair there and there's a pair there, and the last card, well, the last card is not a pair, simply an odd card. So we'll place the odd card right there. Now you're set up to get into the presentation. You start taking the pairs of cards from their fingers and say, there's a pair, there's a pair. I'm going to be making 2 equal piles of cards. Your emphasis is on equal piles of cards. Little do they know that each of these piles are going to be odd numbered. They're not going to be even numbered. When you get to the last card, you say, now this is the odd card, so I'm going to place the odd card in one pile or the other. It's going to be up to you. Now it doesn't really matter what pile they place the odd card in, because that odd card is actually going to make the pile, an even number of cards in that pile. So whatever they decide, you place the odd card, supposedly odd card, in that pile, and you shuffle them. Then you go into the presentation, watch. I can make it travel from there to there. You do the fake transposition of the odd card, and lo and behold, when you do count them out, you say, there's a pair, there's a pair, there's a pair. You never count the number of cards, you simply say, there's a pair. And over here, we have a pair. That's an equal number, that's a pair, that's a pair, but look what traveled over. The odd card traveled from one side to the other. Basically, that's your basic classic piano card trick. Notice that when you pick the pile of musical notes up off of the table, they go on top of the ones that were already in your hand. In other words, the sticky side of that note is still the top card. Next, the cards with the black keys drawn upon them are spread across the table. To give the resemblance of a piano keyboard, separate the cards a little bit to give a little bit more definition to the structure of the piano keyboard. You ask them to place their fingers upon only the black notes. 1 finger upon each note. They can place them on any of the black keys, and they do so, asking them to then lift up all of their fingers but one, which will select a chosen note for them, which they do. Their selection is then placed upon top of that sticky note. On the back side of the note is the Hey Jude prediction, by the way. Then all of the black notes on the table are turned over to show that they could have had any of these other selections of songs. They're all turned over, and when you spread the pile left upon the table with all the notes and their selection on top, the 2 cards stick together, obviously, and then Hey Jude becomes your prediction. You continue turning the cards over to show that none of the other cards have duplicate names on them, and when you turn the prediction over on the card box, everything's a perfect match at the end.